Coachella Valley, and welcome to Live with Your Chamber. I'm your host, Katie Stice, CEO at the Rancho Mirage Chamber of Commerce. And if you see something behind me that looks like a really fun spinning wheel, that's because we're getting ready for our Great Fall Mixer today at 4 o'clock. Come on out, say hello to folks. We haven't not been networking for quite a while, so we've got some games we're going to play. We're going to say hello and check in on one another. It has been such just a difficult time through this entire crisis. And today actually is just a perfect topic that, frankly, we all need to be discussing right now. And you've heard me talk a lot about the overall health of our community and how we really need to look at everything from COVID, which is significant and scary, to addiction, which we're going to be talking about today, to abuse at home. There are so many things we need to be aware of. So let me know if you're watching, where you're watching from, and if you have questions, please feel free to leave them below, or you can contact me directly as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in our guests today. Let me move things around just a little bit. Please welcome Jim and Josie Herndon. I've practiced that, of Addiction Therapeutic Services. They are the founders and owners of Addiction Therapeutic Services. And we're just going to talk a little bit with them today about what's happening, not just in our valley, but around the world and around America, and maybe some tips that might be able to help, and some services as well. So welcome to the show, you two. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Katie. Thank you for inviting us. We definitely appreciate being here, and we hope that we can help the community, and that's what we do at ATS. We kind of go by ATS, so it's a little easier for people to see that when they come. Yeah. Perfect.
And so tell us first kind of how you even founded this company and why.
Well, Jim and I started Addiction Therapeutic Services 8 years ago in Palm Springs. We both have been working. I've been working in the field of addiction and behavioral health over 30 years, Jim over 20 years. And together we've run large facilities in different states and so forth with business partners. But 8 years ago, we wanted to have an outpatient community-based facility. And that's where we are now in Rancho Mirage for the last 4 years. And it's been wonderful being in Rancho Mirage. I think we won your small business award one, and that was great. But to be embraced in a community for our outpatient services has been wonderful. One of the reasons is my son is in recovery, but whatever, he's had problems with addiction. I don't ever say when he's in recovery or not, but he was one time he relapsed in a town out of state. There was no outpatient services, and I've been working in the field. I couldn't get him any aftercare. So I realized that was a problem for his recovery, is that he would go to treatment residential programs, and then when he would come home without any follow-up, he would more than likely relapse in maybe 30 or 60 days. So one of our motivations was, to have a facility in the community for people coming home after treatment, and also for people that just, right now we have a lot of local. We do not own a sober living. So we're here for the local community, especially during these times. And they go home every day, so they can come in for 3 hours a day. They can come in for 5 hours a day, depending, or they can come in for an hour of individual sessions. We also help adolescents. So we have a nice adolescent program for the kids that are technically after school. They don't mix with the adults, but it's been a blessing, I think. Jim, since we started this, and we're a mom and pop basically. So we're not corporate. And with all our experience, we've got great clinicians that work for us. So
sounds great. Jim, did you want to add something there?
Yeah, my passion came from, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I was addicted to cocaine, and I've been clean and sober for 29 years. And
congratulations.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Life-changing.
Yep.
I ended up going to medical school, the physician assistant program up in Seattle, Washington, and I got recruited out of school to the Betty Ford Center. So I've been practicing addiction medicine and psychiatry full time since 2002.
Great.
And there's huge need for it.
There is.
addiction recovery is, it comes in various forms, and once treatment's over, people go to AA meetings or NA meetings, or they do a Buddhist practice or whatever. And with the coronavirus, everything got shut down.
That's right.
And out of that, the relapse rates have been very high because people don't have their people
Right.
to hang out with, and talk with, and people are alone out there. So it's really been very messy since March.
And we've been open the entire time because we're essential services.
Sure.
I know that some facilities, and that's based on their own comfort zone, have closed outpatients and do everything via Zoom. Well, we do have Zoom options, and then if they don't feel comfortable coming in, we do Zoom options. But if not, we have a lot of our clients that come in because they, we take care of all precautions with the CDC and the state and county guidelines, 6-foot distancing, everything you can imagine to keep it safe. And we've been safe this entire time. But we are here for the community in person, and Jim can actually do a medical assessment on them and help them with their medication management, with outpatient detox, because, just doing Zoom, we found has not been working for our community. Yeah. So we are taking every precaution, and we're staying open so they can actually make an appointment, come in, get an assessment, and then determine what level of care that we have that will serve them. And if not, if they need a higher level, then that would be up to Jim and the clinical team.
Great. And can you tell us a little bit about what maybe some warning signs might be? We all know that none of us have been here before, and everyone is getting through kind of at their own pace. And so can you maybe talk to us a little bit about what some warning signs might be that someone might be looking for in someone else to know when maybe they're just escaping a little bit or when it's a problem?
So I would say that I always say the addict is the last to know that they have an addiction. The family always knows first. So warning signs would definitely be if they're increasingly drinking, maybe they weren't drinking, a lot of time, I think what I've seen with some of our clients that have come in is they would be social drinkers, never had a problem, might go to happy hour a few times a week and have a good time, go home, and that's fine. Well, once lockdown happened and everything closed down, the bars shut down where they would normally kind of stop on their way home. Maybe their wife wouldn't know. They would stop on the way home or have a drink during lunch. Well, now they're home and there's no place to hide because they're drinking. They're drinking at home all day. And even if they only drank once a week before, they might be drinking every day. A lot of people if you go to the stores, and at first when this happened, the shopping carts were packed with alcohol and the booze was just everywhere, right? So and I knew that would happen because the bars closed. So it's like, okay, with bars closing, the alcohol is going to go to the house. And that might have been well and good in the beginning. It actually, if they are an alcoholic, they're not going to be able to stop. So even if their spouse says, maybe we should cut back and get healthy now and not drink so much, if they have a hard time stopping, then that's when they call us. I always say whenever they can't stop for a week on their own or 2 weeks without, then it's a problem.
Then it's time to call.
If they say something like, oh, well, I could stop anytime. Okay, well, then do it. And try a week. If it's a problem, then it's a problem. And no judgment, but call us and we can help you, and that kind of thing. And pain pills also have been a problem. Pain medications, because a lot of medical problems have been coming up just with the stress. Our bodies have been stressed. Jim, thank God, he just recovered from cancer. This whole time, 6 months cancer treatments during this entire COVID, and he got COVID. And we talked to people who have gotten the COVID and are still sick, or more people have medical problems now than ever because they're at home. They're not going to the gym. They're not, socializing. So, there's anxiety with our behavioral health. We can help with anxiety, but we can also help with, medications. If they think they're taking too many pain medications, they can talk to Jim about that. So it might not be that it's this terrible, but if they feel that if you guys feel, I should say, if we feel, because I have the same thing, that we are just off balance, with something like that, or we need, we'd like some support, we can have therapists here talk to them about anxiety and depression, because I think everybody's feeling it. I was on a Zoom call yesterday with 100 people from our industry across the country, like you were saying, and we were talking about how we're all doing this COVID thing. And there were some that were just so depressed, and they were talking about how they've been depressed because they're used to going and working and traveling and things like that. And so it's, and their practices are filling up because of depression and anxiety. Yeah. So people in our industry are actually getting busier right now, from what I got from the national scene yesterday. So I know that locally we have as well, and they can feel comfortable coming to a confidential facility and just, seeing if we can help. But yeah, we all are feeling it with the COVID for sure. Jim?
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the risk of going into like a hospital or a residential program, and because of their concerns over coronavirus. So, we have the opportunity. We're certified to provide outpatient detoxification. So, so people can come see us, attend group, get their medications and detox in the safety of their home. Right. And other things to look out for are insomnia, worsening insomnia, depression, anxiety, irritability. If there's, domestic violence in the home, that is, a huge warning sign for substance abuse.
Okay.
And, those are the things to look at, in your families and friends and in the home.
It's interesting because, I know we were talking about at the beginning, alcohol specifically. And, I think what I see a lot of times, and one of the reasons I really wanted to talk to you about this, and I think we should talk about it, it's an ongoing conversation as we continue to have, this level of stress and anxiety within our communities. Sometimes on my social media feeds, I'll see people just, joking about it constantly, or there's memes about how you can put, wine in your coffee cups and things. And I just think I cringe because I think, I know people are trying to make light of it, but I also think that that's a real issue for folks. And I almost want to say, don't encourage that. It's just too dangerous right now to make light of those things.
Well, because then you get behind with it, it gets ahead of you. That, next thing you know, you can't stop. So I think if people want to give themselves that little, say if they can stop for a week, test, because that's the big thing is, if they say they can stop, then they should be able to stop, no problem. So, and that's just for them. I always tell them when I talk to them, this is not up to me. This is for you. Yeah. So you just be honest with yourself. You don't have to, tell me, but you can call me back and say, if you think our program is good for you, but test it yourself and see if you can stop drinking for a few days. And if you can't, call and we can help you with medication, tapering off the alcohol with meds instead of drinking, because it becomes a physical thing to where then it's not even fun anymore, but they physically feel the anxiety. See, they'll get more anxious when they need the alcohol, because alcohol is, it'll make you more anxious when you don't have it. If you're trying to just stop cold turkey, then they're going to start feeling certain symptoms like, Jim, anxiety, heart rate, their heart rate will go up and they'll start maybe sweating. They'll get really irritable. And what are some of the, Jim, just like say they just stop drinking on their own, what,
Well, I mean, there's many risks. They could have a hypertensive crisis where, blood pressure goes up to the roof. They're at risk for withdrawal seizures, especially off of the benzodiazepine class drugs and alcohol. Plus, people are at risk for much higher rates of overdose because so instead of going into seeing their doctors and being evaluated, physicians are, refilling their medications.
That's right.
They're refilling, Xanax at, 90-day clips.
Wow.
And so there's, they're trying to treat their patients, but when they're not seeing them or seeing them via Zoom, they're not getting the full picture.
Different.
And there's danger there.
So say someone calls, goes on your website, signs up for this program. Can you just give us an overview of what someone would experience?
Yeah, so if they call, they'll talk to Joy, who is our admissions person,
Yep.
and she's wonderful, and she will ask them some questions, and she'll get their insurance. We're a network with 15 insurance companies, most
Okay.
insurance companies. We can take most IEHP,
Okay.
and especially for the kids, our adolescent program, we can take the IHP, and that's good. And we've been helping the kids at school for their schoolwork as well. But they would talk to Joy. They would schedule an appointment for an assessment, which there's no charge for the initial evaluation. She will get their insurance information. If they don't have insurance, and our fees are about $300 a day, and that's for everything, including gym and the medical and everything. So it's pretty reasonable. A lot of programs charge more than that.
Okay.
So, but we can, because we're small mom and pop, we can also, we can do some partial scholarships and do that kind of stuff. We've been helping the community with scholarships and partial scholarships because there's a big crisis. And so whenever they call, we figure out a way to help them. Yeah.
That is remarkable. And I just, on behalf of the chamber and the community, thank you for that kind of help and support. It really is a game changer for a lot of folks. Just lastly, are there some tips that you have for people out there? I know you talked about, maybe if someone's not sure if there's a problem, or taking a week off, trying that as a good test. Are there other tips that you have for dealing with, and maybe this is for you, Jim, because of your line of work, are there tips that you can give folks just to stay healthy through this time, or not take it over the edge?
Well, I mean, I met with a family today. They were in crisis, mother, father, son and daughter, and the daughter was the identified problem. She's been out partying and doing drugs, and she had an overdose and ended up in the hospital this week. And so we basically sat down and talked about all of it, and it turns out that there's some addictive issues throughout the family. The son has been drinking too much. The mother has been gambling, and so basically I got to present information to all of them. Addiction shows up in many ways. There's eating disorders, and there's it's full spectrum of disease processes. And I met with the family for about 45 minutes. We talked about it. I said, I provided them some information. I asked them to be gentle with each other, and that to look at this as a healthcare issue, not as a moral deficiency. Nobody was bad in that room. Everybody was working with the coping skills they had, and the coping skills have become unhealthy.
Absolutely.
And subsequently unhappy,
Absolutely. And I think the tip that I have for people out there watching, something I know that has just helped me and my family, because we feel the rut, and it feels like this. Sometimes you have good weeks and bad weeks. And we went back to purple. Of course, the chamber, it was just awful. And we were hearing despair in the community. One of the things I think that I love doing is all of these virtual runs and walks that people are having. The Alzheimer's Association has one this weekend. The YMCA did one that was like 20 miles, 20 days. But it I get my friends on board and family on board.
Well, what I think is and what I tell people right now, I am excited that we're in season as far as our weather here in the desert.
Yeah.
So this is something for us in the desert, not other places where it's, this strong winter. But for us, we can actually have some hope, our local community, because we can go outside now and go hiking and actually enjoy the restaurants outside. And I encourage people to spiritually, do what they feel that is beautiful, and going, talking, with each other. If they haven't been going to church, maybe talk to people, text each other. They love each other, and just, sharing some sort of hope with each other via text, or, if you can go outside and have a social distance coffee with a couple people. And now we can go, like I said, I encourage everybody to go hiking and just get out in nature, because I know that, they say but lockdown has affected people in so many ways. And for us in the desert, our lockdown is usually the summer anyways, because it's too hot to be outside. Well, now finally the weather's perfect. So for the Coachella Valley, I think we, can really bring some more joy to our, our lives, and maybe put that alcohol and the marijuana and all the stuff aside for a while, and then just go and get some fresh air and go hiking, because, marijuana has been a big thing too, believe me. It's just,
well, Kim and Josie, thank you guys so much for being on today, sharing your expertise. I know it's a passion. I know it's a love. I just can't thank you enough for being there for our community, the way that you have been. And for everyone who's watching, the website is on the screen. The phone number is on the screen.
And we're right at Frank Sinatra and Highway 111 in Rancho Mirage.
Center of the Valley. If you have questions or just concerns, I mean, this is a great time to reach out. There are resources right here, as you can see, that are available to you to help work through this time. And it's a hard time for everyone, so there's no shame in reaching out. So thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. And we'll have you again, maybe in a month or so, where we can just talk a little bit about where people might be then. So thank you guys both.
Thank you.
Anything we can do to help. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll see you guys soon. And thank you so much for joining us today. We love to talk to small business owners and nonprofits and incredible services like these that are here for our whole community. Thank you guys for tuning in again to Live with Your Chamber. If there's a way that I can help you professionally or your business, please don't hesitate to reach out. That's what your chamber is here for. And we are going to keep plugging along, supporting our community until we don't have to anymore. Take care. We'll see you soon.